And we are live with another edition of Keep Calm and Carry. This is episode 25, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone in the chat room that's going to be hanging out with me tonight. I know it's a Monday. You guys' weeks are just starting. Weekend was just yesterday, and you got a lot going on, and you're choosing to spend your time with me, and I really do appreciate that. Thanks so much, guys. So this episode, I didn't have any guests lined up this week. If you don't already know, this weekend I'm headed to the Range Day in Georgia with Iraq Veteran 8888. So I've got a lot of things going on. I have 2 episodes that are going to drop this weekend, or this week rather, for Fit and Fire. 2 reviews of products that I've got coming up. One will air on Wednesday and one will air on Friday. And then I probably will take a break next week from the live chat. So just keep that in mind. But I do want to say again, thank you to everybody who has decided to swing by tonight. And wanted to let you guys know that if this is your first time with Keep Calm and Carry and my channel, Fit and Fire, I do have my channel, my website rather, fitandfire.com. If you guys are interested in deals of the week, great internet finds, my EDC stuff, my AR-15 builds, and a lot of other stuff, swing on by fitandfire.com. Also, in the description of this live chat is going to be a number of different links that you guys can swing by and check out, to include some things that I support myself. So by all means, swing by, check those things out. So with that being said, let me click this little thing right here, this notification, close out of that, and let's go into the chat room. Let's say hi to everybody. First and foremost, looks like Richard Graves was the first one to get in there. Sorry for starting late, guys. Daughter had Taekwondo tonight, and I was running a little bit behind on getting home and getting myself prepared for this live chat. Izzy, hard tacos are the best long. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. But good to see that he jumped in and is busting out real quick, so he'll catch me on the replay. Fortunate Son 6035, good to see you. Kevin Ekdahl, the Grim Reaper, and Frank Hellman, I really appreciate you guys swinging by. So we're going to talk about a number of different things, and of course, naturally, we're going to be able to talk about some things going on with you guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, manifestos, anything that you guys have whatsoever, by all means, swing them on into the chat room. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. That also helps out with the analytics and all that jazz. If you don't already know or haven't already noticed, there's some things going on in the background right here. You guys check this out. There's a gun safe right here. I wasn't there last week, and there is my morale patches up on the wall as well. So this weekend, I worked extensively all weekend long to not only clear out everything that I had going on in my YouTube room. I have a room dedicated specifically to my YouTube videos, and I really do appreciate my wife helping me out with that. But for those of you that don't know, I've been, like I said, working really, really hard to clean everything out because it just turned into a massive pigsty. I've got stuff just all over the place, and I had to clean things up. Got everything cleaned up and realized that I needed some stuff in the background, and I was just kind of getting washed out in my videos. So I wanted to go ahead and get something set up that would be kind of cool for you guys to look at instead of my just silly face, right? So I went ahead and checked out some gun safes, went to Academy Sports. It's one of the places that I like to shop at. We don't have too many places to shop for things like this right here in our area. So the only other place that is available besides Walmart is Dick's, and I refuse to go there. I actually missed out on muzzleloader season this year in Kansas because Academy Sports didn't have what I needed. Walmart didn't have what I needed. And Dick's probably had it, but I refused to go there. So I couldn't get the bullets or the powder for my muzzleloader. Missed out. Oh, well. So I went ahead and picked up this Browning safe. It's a 23 gun safe, and I am really, really enjoying it. So, and then my morale patches back here, it's a little skimpy. I need to add some more. So if you guys have some morale patches that you'd like to see up on the board, by all means, send me an email. You can contact me through my website, fitandfire.com, as well, and we can work out something on getting any morale patches that you might have sent to me. So with that being said, let's see here. Safe tour in 2 weeks, Fit and Fire. Safe tour. No. The point of having a safe is to keep things locked up. And I had this discussion with my significant other, household six, as we would like to say. And I'm not going to do anything about showing what I have in my safe, because there are some things that I do keep in this safe that I don't want people to know about. And it's nothing special. There's nothing really valuable, but they're valuable to me, and I want to keep them nice and safe. So I will have them in there, and I'm going to keep them in there. And yeah, I'm really just not going to talk about it. So yeah, hate to break it to you. WW Clay 86, good to see you. Thanks for swinging by. So let's get into the chat. You guys have seen what's going on behind me. Let's get into what we're talking about today. So woke up this morning and I get notifications on my phone, much like this right here. As you can see, I've got some notifications right there. It looks like Mr. Matt is doing his live chat right now with never enough ammo. But this morning I got a headline notification from USA Today talking about how the ATF was pressured within hours to ban bump stocks. And I was like, that's a really interesting article. So I thought I'd go ahead and take a look at it and read through it. I by the time I got done reading it, I was ready to throw up because it was just tons of misinformation and falsehoods and everything else, as you would expect from mass media. But there's some items that I want to kind of point out from that article. Now, in the description below, I have a article posted there from thehill.com, and it's actually an abbreviated version of the USA Today article. Once this is done, I'll go ahead and post the USA Today article as well. But basically, the article is talking about the Las Vegas shooting. Okay, if you guys don't already know, today is the 1-year anniversary of the shooting in Los Angeles, where a deranged gunman decided to bust out the window of his room on the 23rd floor and then shoot down into a concert. Now, one of the reasons why it's gained so much notoriety is because, number one, 58 people lost their lives in that shooting, which is very unfortunate. And number two, a bump stock or slide fire device was used for the first time. Allegedly, we don't really even know, but from what we've seen in video of the shooting and what was in the hotel room and so on and so forth, we can conclude more than likely that the preponderance of evidence is pointing to the fact that a slide fire was used in that. So looks like Rabbi Jesus joined us. Good to see you, right? So with that being said, this article basically is coming out and is kind of providing a bit of a timeline or an overview of how badly the ATF got beat up after the shooting in Las Vegas. So the very first thing that this USA Today article talks about is that the ATF has been helping with local authorities to investigate the shooting. Now, my very first question, and I'm pretty sure that my dad has this very same question. He's brought it up several different times in conversations with me, but why is the ATF investigating anything? They're a regulatory arm of the government. They're not an investigative party to anything. They basically oversee and regulate the the laws that have been put in place by Congress, right? So why are they actively investigating anything? That's what the FBI is for, or the Nevada Bureau of Investigation, or the Sheriff's Department, or anything else. What they would do, the ATF would extract that information and then analyze to see if there needs to be any type of regulation change. And that's kind of what this article is all about. So that was my first question, is why is the ATF assisting with anything? There is a law on the books governing slide fires, bump stocks, if we will. We're going to call them bump stocks. I don't like to use that term, but for simplicity, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how they really got beat up the week after the incident. So I've got the article up here. So if you see me scrolling through my phone, that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of looking at a couple different points and quotations. Incidentally, you guys may get a kick out of this, but I'm going to read you guys a paragraph here that I thought was very, very interesting. Let's see, let's get to it. It starts with Chris Cox, so I'm looking for his name. We'll scroll through it here. Give me just 1 second, gents. Here it is. Chris Cox, executive director of the NRA's Institute for Legislative Action, took credit for stopping the immediate passage of the bipartisan legislation that would have banned the device in an online interview October 26th with YouTube personality James Yeager. James Yeager's name is in this USA Today article. I thought that was pretty cool. I went ahead and highlighted that and sent that in an email to James Yeager to say, hey, you got some publicity there, guy. So anyway, hey, Alaskan Ballistics, good to see you. I'm going to swing back by into the comments here in just a second. But one of the big things that they talked about was the director of the ATF. Now let this sink in real quick. The director of the ATF emailed his technologies chief, right? And asked if the bump stock was approved by the ATF. Did you let that sit in for a second? The director of the ATF did not know whether or not bump stocks were approved by the ATF. That's really kind of concerning. Now I get it. The director of the ATF is not going to know every nook and cranny, but and to caveat that, he's also responsible for not just firearms, but also tobacco and alcohol and the regulations that govern those. And now here recently, explosives as well. But firearms is a real big component, especially right now, of the ATF, right? So they, as Fortunate Son here says, they interpret the law, right? So that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to interpret the law that is written on the books. Now, this article goes through, and there, like I said, there's a number of different misnomers on that. But one of the other interesting things was after the ATF had been getting hammered for about a week, their public affairs official for the ATF reached out to media and said, can we stop saying that the ATF approved the bump stocks, right? He was asking media to stop saying that they were approved by the ATF. Well, in order for a company to sell a device that is supposed to attach to a firearm, it has to go through a review with the ATF. So it was approved by the ATF, right? And I'm really kind of frustrated at the fact that they would go so far as to try to kind of throw some of the blame off of themselves. Now, I don't really think the blame is on the ATF's feet to begin with. If we go back, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to run through a couple different rabbit holes, but if we go back to the gentleman that stood up in front of his town hall, in front of his local municipality and gave that very impassioned speech. His name is Mark Robinson. And he talks about every time one of these anytime one of these shootings happen, you don't want to put it at the feet of who it belongs to. It doesn't belong at my feet. It belongs at the shooter's feet, right? So that's one of the unfortunate things, is that we're continuing to look at devices that perpetrated this massacre, right? Instead of looking at the person themselves. Person is the one that did this, not an inanimate object, right? It was just a tool in it. He could have killed just as many or wounded just as many by running a truck through it, right? Just like in Nice, France. They have a problem with trucks, it seems like. They should probably regulate those. But one of the things that really bothers me about this article, and I'll pause right after I read this, and I'll go over to the chat room and talk to you guys. Andrew Dalton Ray, good to see you. But the article says, quote, bump stocks effectively hobble the ATF's authority to regulate the sale and ownership of machine guns by making regular semi-automatic weapons function like a machine gun. They're basically saying that the fact that the law that has been put into place that allowed bump stocks to be sold is actually circumventing the ATF's ability to effectively govern over machine guns. Well, the problem right there is that obviously the individual who is writing this article for USA Today, and that person is Nick Pinsenthaler. I can't even say his last name. Pinsenthaler. Pinsenthaler is his name. Nick Pinsenthaler. He obviously doesn't know enough about bump stocks to even know what he's talking about, to say something that bump stocks affect the ATF's authority to regulate the sale and ownership of machine guns by making regular guns function like a machine gun. Well, it doesn't function like a machine gun, because a machine gun is defined in the ATF's laws, in their regulations, as the function of a gun being perpetuated by one pull of the trigger. A bump stock doesn't do that. It uses the inertia of the recoil from a rifle to actuate the trigger time and time again. You don't even need the bump stock to fire it that way. You can use the belt loop on your pants to do so. And you don't even really need to do that. You just need to know how to manipulate the rifle in such a way, right? You can do it with any firearm. You could do it with a Glock. I got my Gucci Glock right here. If I really wanted to, I could do it with this, right? So, by the way, Faxon firearms barrel running pretty sweet, very accurate. I really like Faxon RMR. Oh, like PL Mini. You guys know it. All right, so that's kind of a lot of the high points of the article. I really suggest you guys take the time to read it. You will be physically sick by the time you get done with it, but I strongly urge you guys to go and read the article so that you can see exactly the misnomers and the lies and everything else that they're really putting into this article. There are physical lies in here. They talk about how the Trump administration wanted to blame the Obama administration for passing this law, right? But then they go on to say that bump stocks had been approved in Bush's administration. Well, shoot, I can remember when I was a kid being at the Tulsa Gun Show, a kid. So that would have been 90s, and seeing the chicks in the bikinis with the freaking slide fire, VHS tapes that are, being played at. It's just ridiculous. So, whew, man. So we're gonna head on over to the chat room here. I'm gonna scroll back. So excuse me, guys. You guys are really throwing in the comments here. I'm gonna scroll back a little ways, and we're gonna start looking at some of the comments here. So let's see. Okay, well, why don't the libs just leave our gun rights alone? I would never own a bump stock, but other people should have the right to do so. WW Clay 86, that's exactly right. There is language in the Constitution that says very plainly, shall not be infringed, right? So I do think that every gun owner should be a responsible gun owner and to effectively and proficiently operate any weapon that they owned. And that means that there should be training involved. But I don't think that training should be mandated. I think that training should be a bit of the culture behind an individual firearm, right? Naturally, if we just don't go into a plane and jump out. And I think that bred into the culture of parachuting, and it should be bred into the culture of firearms as well. So that's kind of my take on it. So yeah, very, very good point. Rabbi Jesus, that guy was a piece of, you know what? Also, what's with the performer who didn't yell for everyone to run? There was a lot of confusion, Rabbi. There was a lot of confusion on what was going on. There's been some lady walking around in the crowd saying that you guys are going to die right before the shooting actually happened. So that's there's just a lot of misinformation. We really don't know. The ATF is not the enemy, Rabbi goes on to say. And yeah, I don't think that they're the enemy. All they're doing is regulating the laws that Congress has put into place. All the laws that are in ATF regulations have been passed by Congress. And that's actually a point that is made late in this article, is that after Trump had went out and said in March that he wanted to effectively ban bump stocks, and he kicked it over to the DOJ, they know that all that's doing is just kicking the can down the road, because the DOJ is not going to really do anything about it. Supposedly, they're supposed to make an announcement here pretty soon, and there's already gun advocate groups that firearms Second Amendment advocate groups that are already going to sue the DOJ the moment that they try to ban bump stocks. So again, what W.W. Clay said was, I don't plan on owning one, and to do it. Exactly. I don't plan on owning one ever. I don't plan on owning a fully automatic weapon ever, because I've already had those things when I was in the military. And to be frankly honest with you, I am far more accurate and have the ability to fire far more rapidly on semi-auto than I am on full auto. So I like to just go ahead and just stick with full semi-auto, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So let's see. ATF loves our rights so much that they ban machine gun barrels from import. Yeah, and that's actually kind of an irony, right? That they're going to ban something that's a barrel that doesn't make a weapon fully automatic. The trigger group is what makes an item fully automatic. A barrel doesn't. So, but what they're trying to do is hamstring individuals from building their own, possibly. So, Rabbi Jesus says, don't like the law, so call your congressman and tell him. Yeah, do so. Yep. Do so, do so, do so. Open bolt, let's see, open bolt ban, 5.45 ammo ban, all the ATF. I don't think it was the ATF. The ATF probably did something through either executive action or some type of tariff regulation put forth by the Congress. I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into the 5.45 ammo ban, because I don't think the ATF has the ability to just come out and say, this is what it is. We're enacting this policy. No more 5.45 ammo. I don't think they have that ability. So, see, the point of the ATF is for them to come up with policies so politicians don't have to. No, the point of the ATF is to regulate and decipher and interpret products or devices out in the market based off of laws that Congress is enacting, right? So there is a committee that is formed for alcohol, tobacco, firearms, all that jazz. It's not called the ATF committee, but it's a committee in Congress that talks about these types of things. They write laws, they pass it, and then it gets dished down and the ATF puts it into policy. So all they do is interpret it. There is a legal definition of what a semi-automatic rifle is and what a fully automatic rifle is, or a machine gun. And the slide fire bump stock still makes the weapon semi-automatic, right? It's just using physics to increase rates of fire, if you want to say, but it's still semi-automatic, right? So let's see. I'm going to skip through here just a little bit, try to catch up with you guys. So you're telling me ATF officials have never banned any firearm or firearm accessory? I don't believe so. Fortunate Son 6035. I don't think that they themselves have actively come out and said, we are banning this. It has either been directed by the DOJ, the executive branch, or the legislative branch. One of those three is dictating to the ATF, right? Because the ATF is not a policy or law generating arm of the government. It is a regulatory arm of the government. So they just regulate what laws are on the books. They interpret what laws are on the books. That is my understanding. If I'm wrong, I'll freely admit that I'm wrong, but that is my understanding of it. So quite the opposite. Even last year, they asked the government to relax import laws on firearms. Let's see. Kevin Ekdahl says the ATF definitely enforces the laws in place, like undercover schemes at bars to make sure they are not serving underage people. Yeah, but they don't. That's different. That's more enforcing the law. That is not. And I'm wondering if Kevin Ekdahl is referring to my comments of why is the ATF investigating what's going on in Vegas. So they shouldn't be investigating anything. They should be enforcing the law. So yeah. So Operation Fast and Furious Elk Hunter. Yeah, he jumps in with that one. Yeah, that was DOJ. That was DOJ. That was not ATF. So let's see here. Let's see. I am needing some ammo that is full copper and tumbles on impact. Any suggestions? Fan TV says. Yeah, as a matter of fact, here is some 6.5 Creedmoor tumble upon impact. Solid copper spun, the SCS projectiles right there. So 6.5 Creedmoor. They also offer it in 9mm, 45 ACP, 40 cal, and 5.56. So there you go. Fan, always got to jump in there. So all right, so let's get caught up here. Let's see. The problem is if the DOJ isn't allowed to ban just the limited parts it's pertaining to, it will go to Congress. In Congress, the bump stock bill will become a weapons ban bill, and it will fail. That was kind of one of the points that the article was talking about, is that the DOJ is going to come up with this decision and all this other stuff, and it's going to get kicked down the road to Congress, and they're going to have to make a decision and stuff like that, and it's going to end up dying. So even if the DOJ comes out and says, yeah, we're going to ban it, there's going to be organizations are going to sue the government. So that means that once the government's sued and goes through the courts and all that jazz, then it may get pushed back into Congress as a bill to try to ban certain items. And that's a very slippery slope. And that's not going to play out very well for the NRA, I can tell you that right now, because the NRA is going to come out and try to fight that type of legislation, which then would make a lot of people attack the NRA, because the NRA first supports the ATF and everybody saying we need to look at banning bump stocks, and then they turn around and blocking. They talk about that into the article as well, as I bump my microphone. So you guys are really, really getting going on this. The Revolting Man says ISIS swears he's one of theirs. Yeah, I guess so. GOZ doesn't make laws, neither uh, make laws either, or the president. Yeah. So the only people that can make laws is the Congress. So fortunate son, 6035, you're correct. However, the DOJ can interpret the law that is already on the books. They can say, okay, so for this bump stock that's right over here, it doesn't fall into this section like you said it did. The DOJ has decided that this device is actually, falls into this section, which is more machine guns based, and that it needs to be regulated and banned. So you're correct in the fact that the DOJ doesn't write laws. However, they can interpret laws and they can write policy based on the interpretation of that law, right? Which is why it is extremely important that you guys get out and vote in November to ensure that we are maintaining individuals in the Congress that will uphold our Second Amendment rights and will ensure that certain laws are not put into place. So TUI, tumble upon impact. Shameless plug. Just so you guys know, full disclosure, I don't get paid anything from Fort Scott Munitions. They've sent me one box of 9mm 115 grain, and they've sent me 2 boxes of 6.5 Creedmoor, and that's it. I've done a video for them on their 9mm. Of course, naturally, you guys have seen that, and that's it. I don't get any kickbacks, no plugs, no cash in hand, none of that stuff. So there you go. Hey, Kevin Ekdahl. Thank you so much. I just now seeing the super chat. Thank you so much. $4.99. Side note, do you want a Chiefs score update? And as I was checking on it right before I came live, it was 3-3. It's a very tough game on the road in Denver. And I'll let you guys know, I had planned on not doing a live chat tonight because of the Chiefs game, but I decided, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. It is Denver, but it looks like 10-10 is the score with 40 seconds left, and Denver's got the ball. It's 3rd and 10 on the Kansas City 21, so they're just outside the red zone, Denver is, and it could be that they will be possibly kicking a field goal going into halftime. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough game. Chiefs have been really, really high-powered on their offense, and it looks like the Broncos were prepared for them and knew how to shut things down a little bit. So, yeah, thanks for the super chat. I really do appreciate that, Kevin, and thanks for reminding me the Chiefs game was going on. Fort Scott Munitions owes you. Yes. Well, no, to be frankly honest with you, the guys over at FSM, they are super cool. I met a lot of those guys at NRAM, and I just really like supporting Kansas companies. I'm a Kansan through and through. At some point here in the next few years, I will have to move from Kansas. I won't be able to stay here forever. And I'm still going to continue to support Kansas companies. I'm still going to be part of Kansas gun community and supporting them and doing all that stuff. So I saw a really good question here. Rabbi Jesus goes on to say, who hasn't registered to vote? Even if you're living overseas, do it. Absolutely. Please, please, please register to vote. Register to vote. Just kicked a field goal. Yep, just kicked a field goal, and it's halftime. Broncos up 13-10. Thanks to Grim Reaper. Count on you. Hashtag me too. You guys. Rabbi Jesus, come to Texas. I wouldn't mind coming to Texas. In fact, growing up, I will tell you, I hated Texas. I couldn't stand Texas because everything that I saw and heard about and everything else was Texas this and Texas that, and Texas, don't mess with Texas, and everything's bigger in Texas, and Texas. It's like Texas is like has like a Napoleon complex, Like they have to promote themselves because they feel a little inadequate, maybe. But I will tell you, since I've been working at my day job that I have right now for the last almost 4 years, it's been 4 years now. I've had to take several trips down to Waco. Not a big fan of Waco per se, but I've really enjoyed my time in Texas. I had a lot of fun down there. Um, Been able to catch a Texas Rangers game and stayed at the Omni in Fort Worth, which is really nice. I ran my very first Spartan race in Texas, in Dallas, just outside of Dallas, actually. It was the beast. It was 12 and a half miles of obstacles. Whew. So, so Texas, I wouldn't mind living there, but it's a little hot. I don't think the wife would really like that, how hot it is. So Nico says, I just saw that Nico was making a comment here, and he said, new room. Ooh, much better. No, sir, not a new room, just a new look. Same room. I'm sitting in the exact same spot that I was last week. I've just added patches right there and then the safe. And just trying to get a new look. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Black Diamond Guns and Gears says, come to Tennessee. Already lived in Tennessee, buddy. Clarksville, about just a little over 4 years. Loved every minute of it, to be honest with you. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really, really did enjoy it. Texas is too hot for me, Kevin says. Yeah, absolutely. So Elk Hunter says, sorry to disagree. No doubt Fast and Furious came straight from the top, but it was directly administered by the Arizona ATF office. So but that's still kind of goes into the conundrum of the ATF. So the ATF maybe have came up with the idea, but they can't. The ATF cannot just go out willy-nilly and do something without approval. It has to go through the DOJ or the executive branch, and that is one of the reasons why Obama implemented executive privilege on Eric Holder for Fast and Furious, and why Eric Holder couldn't be subpoenaed and asked about Fast and Furious and the killings of the Border Patrol in the weapons that the ATF flooded into the cartels in Mexico. So yes, the ATF is a part of the problem when it comes to Fast and Furious, but they are not the reason why it was an abysmal failure. They are a large part to it, but Eric Holder and the Obama administration, they are the real culprits of that. Freaking the ATF guys, they're just doing their job. They're trying to do whatever they can to enforce the laws that are in the books and try to make things better. I don't necessarily think that they're doing a good job. So anyway, let's see. The only thing bigger in Texas are the women. I don't know. I've seen a lot of pretty attractive women, but I do follow one power lifter in. She's from Texas, and oh my goodness, yeah, like a midget. So fan TV. Let's see. I need some fan TV. I already answered that question, so we got you there. Yes, Andrew Dalton Ray says a good point here. For you Texans out there, please keep Ted in office and don't vote for Beto, the wannabe socialist. I encourage you guys, you need to watch the debate between Ted Cruz and Beto, I think it is. It just happened like a week or two ago, and there is a scene. I think the NRA has it on their Instagram page. They have a 1-minute video of freaking Cruz destroying Beto when it comes to gun control. He demolished him. It was a mic drop moment like you have never seen before in politics. It was pretty awesome. So yeah. You don't know me. Hashtag Diane Feinstein fingered me. I'm not going to touch that one. I'm just let that one be. Does this stream not have moderators? It's just me, and I'm trying to keep up as best I can on this. So, oh yeah, just Ted destroyed him. So anyhow, that's basically what I wanted to kind of talk about with you guys tonight. Thanks for all the new viewers jumping in. We have dozens of people joining us tonight. We've got 27 viewers right now. If you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button. I sure would appreciate it. It helps with the analytics and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, I hope that you guys take a moment and think about the families that were impacted by the events that happened a year ago. You know, I've talked about it very briefly in the past, but you know, as a person who is part of a family that has been impacted by a mass shooting, you know, this stuff is very, very difficult. My family recognizes and understands that it was the individual that had evil in their hearts, not the weapon itself. So, and so with that being said, yeah, you know, I hope you guys take some time to think about it. If you are, if you're a religious person, please pray for the families as they are I'm sure still trying to find closure and doing that. So the revolting man says, assign a moderator, ! You need one if you need one if you're going to get a bigger live stream. Thanks. Appreciate it. I will definitely look into that and see what that's all about. I know that Tundra Tactical has a couple different people, and yeah. So, all right, Nico. Hey, get a PayPal already. I do have a PayPal. I have not mentioned it, but just jogs my memory. If you guys want to donate to the channel, like Nico has done, like Kevin has done, you guys crush it with the donations. I sure do appreciate it. Every little bit helps. I do have a PayPal, so if you guys are interested in donating that way, you most certainly can. It is going to be attached to my email address, which is fitandfire78@gmail.com. fitandfire78@gmail.com. So if you guys are interested in donating to the channel, by no means am I ever going to ask for you guys to do that, but you know, there's always that option. Patreon is a thing. You know, I've got different tiers if you're interested in that. Again, by no means are you guys needing to do that. At the moment, this channel is supported solely, well, not solely, I take that back, not solely by me. It is mostly supported by myself, but it is also supported by my Patreons. I've got 9 Patreons, which I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And also you guys swinging by my website and looking at certain items that I have on my website, purchasing items through those links that I have in my website. Those are all affiliate links for the most part. And I get a small commission off of those items, whether it be through Amazon or through Palmetto State Armory or Brownells. So if I have links up there, I would say probably 9.5 times out of 10, it's going to be to an affiliate link, and it's no extra money to you. I'm not going to put real high priced items on there. I'm going to try to find deals for you guys to save money. It doesn't cost you any money to buy those things, and it ends up giving me a small commission off of it. So that's how I kind of support the channel a little bit. So at the very least, I can kind of afford ammo. I'm like down to less than 200 rounds on 9mm, and I'm like freaking out right now. So I'll need to hit up the store here pretty soon. So Revolting Man said, interesting chat. I will be back. Well, thanks. Hey, I really appreciate it. Revolting Man, I don't know if you've been with us before, but if you haven't, I try to have guests on this week was going to be kind of a little bit more laid back. I wanted to kind of engage you guys a little bit more instead of having a guest, and then I can get prepared for what's going on this weekend. The event that happened in Vegas was terrifying, and I hope that it will never happen again. I hope it never happens again either. But you know what? Evil is in the hearts of men, and something eventually will happen just as bad. Hopefully not with firearms. Hopefully it won't happen, but unfortunately, the reality is, yeah, it will. Yeah, it sounds like a great nod detail. Today we're going to give drug lords weapons and let them escape so we can kill American Mexicans. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Okay, Nico, I will add my PayPal information to my descriptions. So thank you for that. I will definitely update it for you guys. Did I see Special K jump in there? Hey, Special K, good to see you. Thanks for all the likes and everything on my Instagram. So take it easy, Andrew. Thanks for swinging by. Really appreciate all the support. So excuse me, talking so much today, man. I've had one heck of a Monday, I can tell you that. Got season 2 of Game of Thrones. Man, that thing is addictive. Oh my goodness, that series is addictive. I don't know if you guys have watched Game of Thrones. If you have, don't spoil it for me. But I just got season 2 on. I'll probably be up till midnight, 1 o'clock watching that. So anyway, so what else? What else do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about the Taurus G2C. I was able to get 200 rounds through that over the weekend, and I'll have an update video, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in detail. But I was somewhat impressed. I'm not going to say I was wowed by it. The trigger was okay. It was okay. It's pretty decent for a true second strike capable double action striker fired pistol. But I did have some issues with the sights, and I'll talk about that in my video a little bit. Fan TV says I picked up the PT-111 G2 the other day. I'm okay with it. I don't think that it is a Glock killer, or I don't think that it's going to be as good as a number of other pistols out there. If you have the ability to spend a little bit more money, I would try to pick up either a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 compact or an M&P Shield, depending on which one you want. Those are about $100, $200 more. $400 and less, you probably can pick up one of those. But if you're really strapped for cash and you don't want to buy a high point, I think Taurus G2C is probably a really, really good option. So the Grim Reaper, I know he just picked up one a week ago, and yeah, loving it. Good. Seems popular. My P365 is still running strong. Mine is too. Ran a few rounds through it this weekend. Still getting some primer drag on, or striker drag on the primers. But yeah, Carlos Rios says that I use mine as a truck gun. Absolutely. But I will say that if you're going to use this as a truck gun, please make sure that you guys have a good, viable safe in your vehicle. If you're leaving it in your vehicle, please make sure you have it locked up. The glove box is not secure, so please make sure that you have some type of tethered or bolted down safe inside your vehicle. So Rabbi Jesus says use a safe. Yeah, see, we're on the same page right here. Let's see, I think I'm going to get a 365, never owned a 9mm. So that came from Benjamin. If you haven't ever owned a 9mm, the 365 may seem a little snappy to you. I will say that. It's not to me, because I'm used to shooting a 9mm and I'm used to knowing what a subcompact pistol would do, like a Glock 26. But I will say that if this is your first venture into the 9mm world, the 365 may seem a little snappy, but still a sweet shooter, and it is so accurate. I don't understand how they were able to do it, but with that real short sight radius on the 365, man, that thing is accurate. 25 yards, not a problem. 50 yards, not a problem. I can hit a 75-yard gong. It's a 16-inch gong at 75 yards. And I never able to do that before. I did that with the G2C as well. I did have to hold under, surprisingly enough. I had to hold under at 75 yards to hit that gong, which is really interesting. So probably just need to mess around with the sights a little bit more and get used to them. So let's see what else. It says shot dad's shield. Is it snappier than that? No, Benjamin, 365 is going to be about the same as the shield. However, that is going to be more snappy than a Glock 19, than a Glock 17, and it will be even more snappier than something like a CZ75 SPL1 or a Beretta 92F, or a steel frame, steel slide type of pistol, so an all steel pistol. It's going to be a lot snappier than that. So the Glock 43 is overpriced, and the Glock 45 is overpriced too. So let's talk about that. Yeah, that's a great topic right there. The Glock 45. What do you guys think about that? I think it is absolutely ridiculous. I see some people talking about, is the Glock 45 actually a Gen 6? Hell no, it's not a Gen 6. It's a Gen 5 2.0, and it should have been the Gen 5 1.0 is what it really should have been. Man, it's oh, God. Rabbi Jesus, yes. Yawn, yeah. I know that you and Tundra Tactical talked about it extensively on Saturday, and you're absolutely right. It is a big yawn. It is a marginal improvement. Yay, Glock for marginal improvements. Big freaking deal. But it is the hot topic right now. The Glock 45 is the new thing on the block. It's the new kid on the street. And, everybody wants to talk about it. To be honest with you, when the Glock Gen 5 came out, I really pretty much have lost a lot of... I've lost a lot of interest in Glock. I think I still love Glocks, but when it comes to the new stuff they're coming out with, they're not really coming out with anything new. It's a new adaptation of the Glock Gen 4 is what it is. So the Glock Gen 5 MOS now has front slide serrations. The Glock 45 has everything the Gen 5 has, only without that half moon cutout on the bottom of the frame. And it doesn't, it uses regular Glock 17 mags. It still has the same barrel as the Gen 5. It still has the same coating on the slide as the Gen 5. So it's mediocre at best. It's a quarter step forward for Glock. And Glock is now, as we said in Tundra Tactical's live chat, and I've seen it on Instagram as well, Glock has now become the iPhone of the firearms industry. It's the iPhone of pistols, right? They don't listen to their customers, and they just do what they want to do. Who cares what the customers think? How long did it take for Glock to put front serrations on the slide? How long did that take, right? I mean, when did the Glock Gen 5 come out? Last year? People were asking for it the year before that. There has been companies making bank on improving Glock slides by adding serrations, right? So maybe it's part of the Illuminati's plan that Glock doesn't put front serrations on all of their pistols, because they're kind of giving a kickback to all of these third-party companies that are going to mill out your slide. Williams Gunworks out in Wichita. They're the ones that did all the work on my Glock. So the stippling on the grip and the cut here for the RMR, and then they recoated the frame after they did the cut, because your cutout here, you want it to be coated so it's not susceptible to rust and corrosion and stuff like that. This is extremely dirty. I've got over 1,000 rounds in this since I've cleaned it. So I do need to clean it, but so far running like a champ, no issues. As you can see here, my light needs to be charged. It died yesterday, so I need to get that charged. And one of the great things about it, as you can see in my last video on Tac Labs holsters, I can plug it in right through the holster right there. And I don't even take it out of the holster. I can just plug it in right there. So that was pretty cool. I'm perfectly fine with my Gen 4. Matter of fact, if I can find another Gen 4 at a decent price, I'll probably buy another one. So, and I'll continue to upgrade this one. I'll probably do some more work on the slide or something like that. Or let me see. His oh, I did not muzzle my face. It was not in my face. 1776. Oh my goodness. Good to see you in the chat though. Keith, good to see you too. Can't blame him. I'm married. Nico, that's hilarious. That's good. One of the things that I've been kind of asked about from my buddy Drew down in Wichita, he's my BFF. He's been my friend since like 8th grade. Anyway, he's a big supporter of the channel. He's helped out a lot with a number of different firearms that are loaned to the channel. But one of the things that he asked me to look into is doing a polymer 80 Glock. What do you guys think? You think that I should do a polymer 80, do a complete custom build Glock? I know that Brownells has a kit that you can buy that has like everything except for like maybe I think either the frame and the barrel. I think it's everything but the frame and the barrel, and then you get their polymer 80. So Nico says, yes, do it. Okay, so I will tell you right off the bat that I have never, ever done anything like that. I've never done a 80% lower for an AR-15. I've never done a polymer 80. I've never done anything like that. I think I have all the tools to do it besides a Dremel. I don't think I have a Dremel, but yeah, I think I will start looking into that. Probably won't happen anytime soon, but I do. One thing that is going in my way, good for me is, I've already mentioned it several times, but I will be going to Range Day this weekend. And one of the cool developments is I will be staying with the Brownells guys. So graciously opened up the Airbnb that they're staying at and asked me to stay with them. So I was like, yep, that's going to be cool. We'll have another very, very popular YouTuber staying with them as well. So I'll get to kind of rub elbows with him. I'll leave that as a surprise for next week when I do my video on the Range Day. But yeah, I'm super, super excited about that. So I'll definitely talk to them and see what they have to say. So let me scroll back a little bit and see what's going on in the chat room here. Let's see. Glock 26 with a Glock 19 frame must have. Yeah. And that's one of the things that was big at either SHOT Show or NRAM, one of the two. One of the companies, one of the polymer 80 companies came out with a 26 frame with a 19 slide that would accept the 19 slide. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. Rabbi Jesus, Glock perfection. Just let me stipple the frame, throw away these sights and swap out the trigger. I will say that the trigger that I have in this Glock is the stock trigger. I did have a Zev trigger in it for a long time. And then a few months ago, when that guy shot himself when he was holstering, he had his business, that security cam footage showed him holstering his shield, I think, and was wearing an appendix and then bent over to grab something, and it pulled, somehow the trigger got pulled and shot him right in the groin. So if you guys have any updates on that, let me know. I'd love to hear what's going on with him. So let's see. Rabbi says just ignore our questions and refer to Richard's inquiries. He asked important stuff. Okay, so I'm going to ignore everything and see what Richard has to say. So Richard, if you got a question, go ahead and throw it in there. See this, we said yes, do it. Let's see, Rabbi wants to be 1776 as Sugar Mama. Hey, 1776, I did see your post today on Instagram, and congratulations, sir. You're a great looking family. Good on you, guy. It's good to see you putting some family pics up. That was pretty cool. A lot of me circle jerking. Maybe. Supposedly, Tyler from Thunder Tactical, Brandon, and myself are supposed to spoon at some point. May even see if we can get Jonathan from Tactical Toolbox to spoon with us, but he did say that he would be the big spoon. Let's see. Fortunate Son says, "Go ahead, Rabbi, and mess up a perfectly good gun by attempting to smart the engineers at Glock." Yeah, it's it's pretty. That's pretty good. Yeah. So I really do believe that the individuals at Glock are really, really smart. I think that they are very, very intelligent. I just don't think that they listen to their customer base. So let's see. And that Ranger who doesn't use one, I wonder who is smart. Yeah. So anyway, that puts us right just over an hour, guys. Man, that was a good chat. I really do appreciate Kevin and Nico for contributing to the super chat. Sure do appreciate that. Good point on not only finding a moderator for the chat room, but if anyone's interested in volunteering for the moderator for the chat room, please let me know, and I will definitely vet you. I'm just not going to let anybody do it, but yeah, if you're interested in doing that, go ahead and send me an email, and then I will add my PayPal account to the description below if you guys are interested in doing that. So let's see. Richard says, got to keep warm somehow. Lost without a paddle style. Yeah, with spooning. Yep. I'm always late. All right. So let's see. 1776 says, I just bought a Glock 45, Glock 19, Gen 5 MOS, and 17 MOS, and a Glock 43, and a Glock 91, and a Glock 721. Wow. 1776 or bust. I did not know. Did you get the new Glock 357? That's the question. It's not a 357. It's actually a 22 Magnum, but it's going to be a Glock 350. It's called the Glock 357. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but Glock is coming out with a new pistol. It's called the Glock 357, and it's in 22 Magnum. You heard it here first. Breaking news. So the Grim Reaper says, and thank you so much for the super chat. Here for a solo live chat. Tell me what you mean by that. I'm not sure what you mean by that. So are you saying that you want to have Han Solo be on a live chat? You want me to interview Han Solo? Is that what you're saying? I don't know Han Solo that well. I know Boba Fett very well, but not Han Solo. Or what do you mean? Let me know. So I got the 10 millimeter Gen 45. It's called the Glock 9mm. Oh my goodness. What about a carbon fiber Glock frame instead of a polymer frame? Is that a thing? I don't think so. I think everything is polymer. I don't think I would want a carbon fiber anything. I know that they've done carbon fiber stuff for lowers on AR-15s, and to be honest with you, I just I don't like the idea of molding metal inside of plastic, regardless if it's carbon fiber or anything else. So, oh, I just see. The Grim Reaper said, tip for doing a solo live chat. Yeah. So, this is solo live chats is going to be something I'm going to do with you guys from time to time so I can kind of engage you a little bit better. When I have a guest on, I don't really get a chance to see everybody's comments. I try to go back as best I can, but I don't get a chance to see all your comments. So I try to do that a little bit better here. And as the revolting man made a good point, is I should probably see about getting a moderator for the chat room. So we'll see about getting that taken care of. So, alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. Hopefully the Chiefs win tonight. Let's get a score check. Thanks for getting holster back to you. You bet. No problem. Hey, look at that. Chiefs and Broncos, they are tied 13-13 right now. So there you go. That is that's a thing. And it looks like Chiefs have the ball 4th and 2 on the Denver 35. So I don't know if that is current or if that is after the field goal. So we'll definitely see what's going on that. Rabbi Jesus, you are a prick. Don't ever say go Broncos to me ever again. So, yeah, let's see. And I'm just getting the updates here real quick. Kevin Ekdahl says Chiefs are driving. It looks like they are stalled out. Oh, it's 2nd and 12 on the Denver 39. So it looks like they are driving. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. People still watch football? Yes. That was actually a point that I wanted to make. I still like the NFL. I don't necessarily agree with the positions that they've taken, but to be honest with you, I played football for a very not long. I played football for 7 years, 3 years in middle school and 3 years in 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. So 3 years in middle school, 3 years in high school. I skipped 1 year in high school. My junior year, I didn't play, but I played 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, freshman, sophomore, and senior year. And that was a big part of my life. I really did enjoy playing football, and it was a big release for me. It allowed me to decompress. It allowed me to de-stress, and watching football allows me to de-stress as well. I can just sit there and watch a game and just turn everything off and get either really happy or change the channel and find something else if my team's not winning. But at the end of the day, it's a good release. It allows me to concentrate on other things with like fantasy football and stuff like that. So, again, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the positions that Colin Kaepernick or all these other people are standing and stuff like that. But, you kind of look at the community inside the NFL, like, and I'm, with any other community, there's going to be bad apples inside that community, and we shouldn't judge the entire community based on those few bad apples. So I don't necessarily think the NFL themselves have done any justice. So, yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Backyard football. Yeah. Bro and I played backyard football growing up. So there's about 5 years of backyard football too. So we'll call it 11 years. I played football for 11 years. How about that? Can't stand football, and you guys, you don't have to like football. I totally get it. It's just one of those things. I also like rugby. I like soccer. I like any type of competitive sports, competitive shooting, all that stuff. So yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and call it quits tonight. See if I can try to figure out what's going on with the game. See if I can find it. I don't have ESPN. I've just got basic cable, but I may just shut it down and watch Game of Thrones. That's what I'm going to do. Game of Thrones. I'm going to turn that off because it's going to stress me out. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me on a Monday night. I know you guys got a ton of other stuff that you could be doing, but you're spending it with me. We're talking in the chat room. We're having some fun. I know I'm not as witty or as maybe, yeah, I'm not as funny as Tyler from like Tunda Tactical or one of these other guys. But at the very least, I get a chance to talk to you guys about my opinions, and I get to hear what you guys have to say. So thanks so much. I sure do appreciate it. As always, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I can't say it enough. Thank you so much. And I will be back next week from my trip. Again, I will have 2 videos dropping this week, one Wednesday, one Friday. And I hope you guys enjoy those. I had a lot of fun making those. So, with that being said, take care. Have a great night. And remember, keep calm and carry. Take care. Bye, y'all.